I haven't been having to use a cigarette lighter since, remember when I burnt this area off. I used fire from that to get a pile of sticks lit on fire that I covered in dirt so that it would burn all night to the next night and the next night. And I've been keeping a continual fire going and lighting fires off that same fire. So late fall I started a fire. I'm going to try to burn it all. I'm going to try to keep it going every day of the year. So when I was digging this charcoal out, I got to a point to where there were some hot embers, and I used them to start that fire I was just filming. And I used them, see, I had some pieces that didn't burn up. I piled the pieces that didn't burn up here, lit them back on fire, and started another charcoal mound. The old charcoal mound when I dig deeper in there, I keep finding fire. And I'm thinking there's probably another 5 gallons at least in there. It's just, it needs to go ahead and get put out. It's still burning. I had a few pieces I pulled up and they lit back on fire. I have done this before. Some people do this. They wet the charcoal to make sure it's out and let it dry back out. It's a good idea before you put it in a paper bag or something, but what I normally do is I get all the charcoal up and I kind of spread it out and let it lose its heat. I make sure it's put out. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll put a bunch of it in a metal drum and seal it up with a lid or something where it's getting no air. So I'll make sure it doesn't catch back up, make sure it's out. But you see, I got, in big pieces, I got at least 5 gallons. And now from other projects and stuff, I already had a lot of lumber. I don't mean lumber, but like rotted pieces of lumber. And I had a lot of logs and branches trimmed off of trees that I'd cut down and everything. So I don't know how long it would have took me had I not had all that prep work done from other projects, but I don't have an hour in this. I don't even have an hour in stacking the wood, covering it up with dirt. Maybe I do, I don't know. And I have at least $20 of charcoal. I have more than 20. I bet I got $40 of charcoal here in an hour's worth of work. And more than that, because that's gonna make more. So I didn't make $1, but I saved and I made assets, you know. So the point of money is to get goods and services. If you got the goods and services without the money, you don't need the money. But you know, I do need money. But there's a lot of ways of saving money by doing things yourself. See, like how that just collapsed in there. That same thing happened when I went home at night. A piece in the middle collapsed in, and some more of it burnt up than I wanted to burn up. And when I come out that next morning, I just piled the sticks that were kind of hanging out. They had burned off in the middle so I could break them off. I piled them on the top, covered it up with dirt, and it didn't quite light up that top part enough, and it went out prematurely. So I have some extra wood and stuff to still turn into charcoal. If I would have stacked it better and I would have lit it more evenly, and I would have, you know, I could have got it to make the whole mound, but I got enough charcoal for what I wanted to cook with. I got enough charcoal for what I wanted to put in the chicken pen. I've got enough charcoal to fire that pot that I've been making for Brittany. I almost said Brittany or something. I don't know what I was about to say. So I'm happy, you know. Now, when I got to the top part of it, I pulled out. I was thinking I wasn't going to have no charcoal. It looks like it went out way too early, you know. I had a big old pile of sticks all the way around. You know, limbs and stuff that didn't burn up. I mean, honestly, probably about half of it turned to charcoal and half of it just went out and was still wood. But the part that was wood, you know, they would be like this, right? They would be wood, but they would dry. It was dry wood with parts carbonized, so it's easy to light it back up off of the embers that was down in the middle. And you know, and then that dirt, it wasn't like last time when I had to shovel it out. That dirt was already soft. I had it, when I uncovered the charcoal, it was around like a donut shape. I could just put a bucket on the side and scoop dirt in, and then just go pour it around this fire. So it worked out everywhere. Well, that's probably a better place to put it, right there. When I get off camera, I'll pack those holes with more pieces of wood and just cover them up with bricks and dirt. But it's going to show you though, you can make charcoal this way with just dirt. You don't have to buy those charcoal drums. You don't have to, and you don't have to buy those presses to turn it into brick charcoal. Those could be useful though, because you could take all those little tiny pieces and press them into bigger blocks. But you can make lump charcoal like this great charcoal. I think it actually burns better, but maybe not, I don't know. But there are people paying even more for lump charcoal than brick charcoal. I've thrown some of it on this. See, I didn't have to buy no kind of sifter. I had an aquarium that broke. The lid of it had a screen on it. And I forget what that went to. But I think it was around the bottom of my chicken pen when I was in Glenwood a long time ago. Little scraps I've kept up with. Also found an old wooden sword that just about rotted out here. That was given to me probably around 2014. Right. But you know, I'll start a mound of fire here, just like making charcoal, you know, and just let it smoke a little bit more than normal, like a little, you know, so it'll still be lit it won't be able to get out of where it's at. But it'll still be lit when I come out here tomorrow. I can uncover it and boom, I got a fire. I don't have to, you know, worry about, a lot of stuff out here is wet from the rain. So it was really good that before that rain, I had that big old mound of charcoal going. I didn't make a video about it, but I made some charcoal anyway to make some pottery and to make some charcoal. Actually, I did not make I made a charcoal to cook with, and I wound up using it for pottery because it was just easier to get it to burn even than piling up sticks. And I don't have a big log that could fall and break a piece of pottery. So I just sort of surrounded the whole pot with charcoal as an experiment, and it worked pretty good. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to put this in something completely sealed up with no air. So if there is a little piece in there that might catch back on fire, I don't come out here with melted buckets and a pile of potash, and have it somewhere where it can't get wet from the rain. Probably going to move my grill, clean my grill out, and go ahead and load it with charcoal. This is enough talking. I didn't get to work. I'm running out of daylight.